Hey crafters, do you have this problem? You have lots of scraps, but you want a different design. Let's head down to the crafting table and let me show you something new. Look at this card. We took this mat and created a flap and added our scraps. Hi, I'm G with Creative Moments by G, and so happy to show you this card today. The first thing that you need to do, we're going to create a top fold. So you'll need to get your paper that is 11 by 4 1/4 and it's scored at 5 1/2. But I want to remind you, all the measurements are going to be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com. Just look at the thumbnail for this YouTube video and you'll find all the measurements and supplies. But we need our top fold card and we need a mat. Now our mats are typically 4 by 5 1/4, and it's going to go right on the front. But before we do that, we need to make a few little tick marks. So let's grab our ruler and we're going to put it on the left-hand side. Now just grab a pencil or a pen and we're just going to put a little tick mark at 2 1/4. Right there. That goes on the left-hand side. Now we want to put a tick mark over on the right-hand side at 1 inch. Now bring in your trimmer. We are going to place our 1 inch tick mark in our canal, and then we're just rotating the bottom until our tick mark on the left-hand side gets in the canal. Once they are both in the canal, make sure that you've docked your cutting blade and go ahead and give it a good crease. So far, so easy, right? We need to go ahead and fold that down. Bring in your bone folder. Give it a really good crease. And now you can see that we have this little edge that just kind of hangs out over. We don't want that, so flip it over, grab your scissors, and just cut that off. And now we have our flap. Now, grab that bits box that you have that has all your scraps in it. What we did is we took our odd-shaped pieces of paper and we just cut some nice strips. You typically have all kinds of scraps with your paper, right? As well as your pattern paper. So we just grabbed those, like I said, odd-shaped, and we just cut us some strips. And now let me show you what we're going to do to create this beautiful card. Let's go ahead and bring in our rotating mat just so that it turns when I want it to turn. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat just so that I don't get any glue anywhere. And now I'm just going to put some tape with a tape runner. You can use wet glue if you'd rather do that, but I just want to go ahead and get some tape on there, making sure that I get all the corners and I get the edges as well. Now, if I get any on the bottom part, right there on the edges, I'm just going to fold all that goodness back onto the card, right? And what makes the silicone mat so nice is that just balls up. So you can rub the glue and it just comes right off. So now we just start putting our strips. Now, let me give you a little tip for that. You have this flap laying down. So go ahead and line it up right on this side, and that will make sure that it is straight once you see it on your card. So we have that. I'm just going to put another strip, and now we just start laying it on top. And we're going to cut this off, so if we need any extra pieces or if you want to make another card, you can do that as well. Let's just bring in one of our pieces of cardstock, and that's pecan pie. We're going to bring in a green. Now, you can see that we still have a little piece that we need right there, but I don't have any pattern paper. So let's go ahead and cut this apart and we'll have just enough for that little corner. So the first thing you want to do is open it up like this and just cut off those pieces. Now notice you still have some to cut off right here, right? So we're just going to flip it over and we're just going to cut that off. And now let's find a piece for this little corner. I think I would like this piece right here. It has some handwriting on it that I think is really pretty. So let's go ahead. And we started with that and we're going to end with that. So once again, we're just folding it over like this, turn it upside down, cut it off, cut this off, open it up, and cut this one off. And look at that. Look how pretty that looks. We're just going to grab these extra pieces. We're going to bring in our top fold. Now, I want to make sure and stamp my message before I put this on. And I'm also going to make this a pocket card where we can slip in a pocket. You can slip in a gift card, but you don't have to do that. I just think that might be kind of fun. So I'm going to open this up. And the stamp sets I'm using are Simply Beautiful. It's going to be a brand new one in January. Just Because, look at this, Words of Beauty. And this is another new one. I picked up this leaf, Nature Symphony. Just thought those would be fun to work with. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to put Because right there. And I need to make sure where I put it because of that little corner right there. So I see exactly where I'm going to put it. I'm going to bring in my Night of Navy. Oh my goodness, this is such a fast card, but really is just so pretty. And I know where I want it. I want it down about right there. So I'm just going to open this up. And look at that. Oh my goodness. But I still need to stamp just right here. So I have that and it's very small. So tap, tap, tap. Now, before we put this down, I want to share one more thing with you. If you didn't stamp on this, what if you embossed it? Now, stay with us to the end because I'm going to show you that first one I showed you, and we're going to look at how we embossed it. It's so pretty. Let's go ahead and add this to the front of our card. To do that, we're going to bring in some tear and tape that's very small. It's 1/8 inch. Now, this is in our Amazon store. It is very small, but you don't need a large piece because you want to have enough room for your note card. Or, like I said, you might even want to put a gift card in it. Totally up to you. This is such a fun design to make. Now, we're going to push this down. I just use my fingernail. You can grab that bone folder if you want. And then I have Take Your Pick tool. Love this little pick right here. It just takes the backing off so easily. So we have that, and then we're just going to put it on the front of our card. So we're just lining it up, making sure that we have the same margin. Now I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and I'm just going to push over that to make sure that we really get it attached to the card. Now look at that. Oh. It's looking good. To keep this flap down, we're going to go ahead and grab just 2 dimensionals. Now, we're going to put them right here in the corners, take off the backing and close it. Look at that. It just holds it in place. But we're not done. We want to go ahead and add a little card. So we cut our 2 pieces, and they are 5 by 3 1/4 and 4 3/4 by 3. So we can go ahead and add these, and I'm just going to use my Kalel because it allows me to wiggle just in case I need to. As you can see, I went ahead and I stamped the leaves and I put little cherries on it, just little buds. We're just going to wiggle that into place. And a tip, if you get some of that blue on your fingers, go ahead and just get it cleaned off. And that way you don't get it on your card. So now we have this where it just slides right in. But we're not done yet because we want a little ribbon up there. We want a no-bow bow. So here's another trick. You don't have to do that, but it's kind of fun. So we are just going to take our hole punch and we're just going to punch 2 holes right there. Now we're grabbing some just scrap. I'm not sure if it's going to be long enough, but I think it will be. Might be a little too long. And we just thread it through the front. This is for those of us who don't like to make bows on cards, but we want a little bow. So you thread it through just like this, and then you flip it over, hold this one, and put the right one through the left hole and pull it, just like that. Now you take the other one and thread it through the right hole. Just like this. And now you just cut off the edges. And you have a little bow. Do you see that no-bow bow? Okay, we're just going to slip that in. And we have the front of our card made. Oh, so pretty. But let's go ahead and add something to the inside. I want to put a little stamp, and we're just going to put, just because you make me smile. So we're going to bring in our Knight of Navy again. Tap, tap, tap. I'm just going to stick this right in the corner. And we're just going to glue it down on the inside of our card. This is a fantastic way to use your scraps. A little different, but so pretty. Once again, you don't have to make this a pocket card. You could go ahead and put some gems down here and stamp your message up here, not to worry. But let's make one more variation of this card, just so we can have lots of possibilities, right? This time, we're gonna do a portrait card. So we have our mat that goes on the front of our card. We're going to bring in our ruler again, and we're just going to do a little measuring. So put this right on the side, and we did 2 1/4. So let's keep it at that. Now, you could do 2 1/2, and all it does is make your flap larger, which gives you less room to stamp a message. It's totally up to you though. But let's go ahead and keep this at 2 1/4. And then we're just moving this over to the right-hand side, and we are marking 1 inch. Now, I love this ruler because it has an easy-to-read measurement on it. It has the 4ths, the 8ths, the halves, the 16ths. Makes it so nice. So let's go ahead and grab our trimmer. Let's put our 1 inch in the canal and rotate the bottom until you get the bottom canal. Now, just create a score line. Take your paper out. We're going to fold it down and give it a good crease. Now, notice we have that little tip. Let's turn it over, bring in our scissors, and just cut that off. Okay, and now we are ready to add our strips. So let's go ahead and bring in our silicone mat. Just add it just like that. Now I have brought in some strips. We had different odd shaped pieces of paper, and we went ahead and we just cut some strips from those. And I just love this paper. This will be listed on the supply sheet. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and add our tape. We're just going to go across, making sure that we get those corners. Every little bit. And then lift it up. And if you have any tape that's on the side, just go ahead and put it right on top of the card. All that sticky goodness, right? Now, we're going to start on the right-hand side using this edge, and that gives us our straight scraps, which is what we want. Now, I'm going to move this as close as I can so that I don't have much waste. Okay, we're just going to pick that up and we're going to flip it over just like this. Now bring in your scissors and let's cut that off, all those scraps. Now you can see that you have plenty of scraps to make another card, right? So we have them cut right here. Now we need to cut the top. Just flip it over and cut right at the top of your card. And look at how beautiful that is. Just gorgeous. Save these scraps to put in your bits container, right? For another card. Now we have our Calypso coral, or this beautiful coral paper. We're going to go ahead and it'll be just like that. But before we do that, we want to stamp our message right here. So we are going to stamp Celebrate You. So let's bring in our Night of Navy. Tap, tap, tap. Look at how pretty that is. Just love that font, right? Look at that. Now, we also stamped a beautiful flower, and I think it might be really pretty to have this maybe just right there on our paper. Just like this. We can even cut it off just a little bit. So let's do that. Let's lay this down flat. So we're going to grab our silicone mat again because I'm going to put just a little bit of tape on it. And I'm going to see what that looks like. You can just leave that on. You don't even have to cut off this edge right here. So we're going to leave that on. And we're going to bring in our 1/8 inch tear-in tape. We're just going to put that on the back and go around the card, leaving the top part open. Just going to push it down really well. Bring in my Take Your Pick tool and just pop off that backing. Now let's put it on the front of the card, making sure that we have the same margin side to side and the bottom. And look at that. Let's create our note card. Now we have selected a coordinating color. We're just going to add this to the front of our card. Add this right at the top. And then I have cut out some flowers. Look at how pretty that is. And this is just going to slip right in. Look at that. Now, we still need to go ahead and put our dimensionals right here just to create some height. So let's do that, just right on the corners. There are so many possibilities with this card. If you had some holiday scraps left, you could also do that, but look at that. Now we need to add the inside mat. Just going to add a scrap right at the top and at the bottom. Now let's just add that to the inside of our card. And now look at our two cards using our scraps in a different way. Let me show you some other possibilities. Now remember I showed you this one at the first. We actually embossed this area behind the flap. So you can do that, and we raked it. And finally, look at this card. Oh my goodness. We used that beautiful textured pattern paper. We have our card that you pull out. Put it back in. We added some gems, and you open it up, and we added some more textured paper. What do you think about these designs? Don't you absolutely love this design? Just a different way to use your scraps, and so easy, because during the holidays, we're short on time. So Maudie and I hope that you were inspired and that you take a moment and you subscribe, like, and share with your crafty friends to help us grow. We want you to go out and have a fantastic day. And until next time, we're wishing you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.